Well, that
Yeah.
journey led us to eventually getting married in about 1986, and then in 1988, our daughter Ricky was born. Ricky's actually on the cover of our book, Take Me to Truth. But in spite of that vow that we made, by
Hmm.
1990, so this is only 6 years after we met, our relationship was on the rocks, to say the least, right?
Yeah.
And both of us found ourselves on our knees saying, there's got to be another way.
Oh, yeah.
And it was from this point on, really, that we started experiencing and learning for ourselves
Hmm.
the miracle of the development of trust.
Exactly. I was introduced to a wonderful book called A Course in Miracles. And as soon as I began to read it, I knew there was truth in this book. I knew that through following the principles in the book and doing the workbook lessons, that I would begin to have the experience of real love. So I tried to introduce it to my husband at the time, Tomas, back in those days, remembering that we were already having conflict in our relationship. And at first, you were a very reluctant learner, weren't you, huh? Very resistant.
To say I was
Yeah.
reluctant would be kind, actually. Because deep within me, I knew, uh-oh, this signaled the end of something.
Hmm.
And I feared that it was loss. It
And
was the signal of the end of something, but what it was the signal of the end of the ego, which had been running my life up to that point. So it signaled the end of suffering for us. And from that point, there's been an amazing unfolding that's
hmm
occurred for us in our life as we learned to, strangely enough, let go of each other more and more,
hmm
and then witness that we were closer and closer as we let go more and more. So much so that in 1997, we actually made a very radical decision that we'll put a caveat here. Nobody needs to do this. It was just, we're fairly radical and thought, well, heck, let's go all the way. We've gone this far with letting go of the relationship. Right?
exactly. What we
So,
did is we actually divorced in order to save the relationship. Isn't that crazy? It sounds crazy, but it wasn't so crazy. It was what we did. See, we realized we were pioneers at the time, and like Tomas just said, we don't advise anybody else to do this. It's just that we knew we were on this journey to experience real love. That means with no conditions, absolute unconditional love. And we also knew that in order to experience real love, we had to experience true security as well. Yeah. But what we'd done in the past, and I think a lot of us do this when we look at our close love relationships, is we had put so much trust and security, or placed our security in the actual form of the relationship, which was the marriage. And in our case, it was really holding us back from the next level of learning what love was. And so we decided to divorce in order to save the relationship. And it worked.
and it worked because we're here in front of you now. And what we'd like to say is, water's warm, jump in. You can trust. And when we say you can trust, you can trust the teacher within.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you were saying there, I mean, I was feeling really insecure about letting go of the relationship, believing that there would be loss. And I think most people would agree with that they'd think there'd be loss if you divorced, if you separated and divorced. And certainly that was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But for me, what I wanted more than anything was to actually find myself in a position where I could feel secure. And I desired to want your happiness more than anything else.